Hey, it's Ed. Welcome to Lessons from My Mentor. This one comes from a couple of different mentors quite some time ago, and they were pastors of mine. But I think you're going to find that the principles, you hear about these same principles in the business world as well, because there's just sort of these universal truths. And what I want to tackle this time, because I think it's so important, and if anyone ever like forced me to say like what are the three most important things, I'm thinking this is probably in those top three. And I've talked about other concepts that surround this previously about pouring out what's poured into you is a key concept. And it really emerges from what I'm about to talk about now. And there's two different ways that you hear this. And certainly if this is of any interest or has any meaning to you like it does for me, go do some more research and you'll find tons of great stuff about it. This is just, kind of like the Ed Marks impromptu thoughts of things that got poured into him from his mentors on this particular topic. But it was a game changer, a life changer for me in many, many respects, from personal relationships to professional success to financial success. It is totally a game changer. And so just if you're watching this, just whatever you need to do to just receive, because sometimes not everyone's watching these to receive. Some watch these to pounce, and it kind of goes back to what I'm going to talk about here. So that's what I sometimes do. I'm like, all right, I need to learn. I'm just gonna like stay calm. So maybe that's another lesson from a mentor some other time, just on how to do that. But it has to do with mindset. And is a mindset poverty or prosperity? Now, you don't have to be rich, it doesn't, or poor to live in any one of these. You can be poor and have a prosperity mindset. And conversely, you can be rich and have a poverty mindset. I've seen both. And the other way it's talked about is scarcity versus abundance. So do you operate like things are scarce, or do you operate like there's an abundance? And it's simple, but I'm telling you, the root cause of many things that many conflicts, again, both professionally and personally, that people experience are rooted in this fundamental thing. So I was going to share with you, like I learned from my mentor and applied to my life. So part of it, I don't know if it's my upbringing or whatever, but I grew up, I think, as an immigrant family, and we were, I think you could look and say impoverished. I mean, we were on food stamps and I was on the school lunch, not only the school lunch program, but the school breakfast program. We changed clothes twice a week. We took showers twice a week. I mean, we didn't have a lot of money. And so I think I sort of had this mentality of I'm going to hold on, I'm going to hoard. And so as I grew up, I just sort of, no one said these words to me, but it's just kind of what you picked up. So it's like, I want this, hoard, hoard. And then as I grew older, I sort of got jealous. And this is a way to check your heart. Like, do you get jealous a lot? Do you envy? Do you covet other people's success, other people's things? So I would see other people's success and I'd be like, oh man, or I'd see, oh wow, they're getting paid. I remember, I mean, this goes way back, but they're getting paid 450 an hour, and I'm only getting paid 325 an hour. Oh my gosh, or they got 12 hours and I only got 10 hours. I just get so angry and anxious and just bothered. I wasn't at peace. I wasn't content for sure. And I would see that in other people's success. Like, oh, they became a manager. How come I'm not a manager? Or they got promoted, I didn't get promoted. And I saw it in my personal life as well. Like I just get upset at certain people. So it didn't have to be work related or money related, but it just could be other things in life. Like, why are they always, on stage? Why can't I be on stage? Why, just, I mean, I think you get the drift here with some of those examples, and maybe there's some things in your own life where you can relate directly, or you definitely see it in other people. So that's what I want to talk about. Is like check your heart. So what kind of mentality do you have? Is it poverty mentality where you have to get everything because if you don't, someone else will? Or is it sort of this prosperity where everyone can win and there's plenty for everyone? So it's really easy. I think it's both easy in the personal and professional realm. Certainly easy in the professional realm. And I check myself on this sometimes as well, still today. And this isn't one thing that is like a button and you're either or, I think you might drift back and forth. So I'm always like checking my heart, checking my heart. So like when that covetousness comes up, that envy, that or critical spirit. So that's another way of knowing it. It's like I'll start having a critical spirit. Well, look at that person over there. Yeah. And then I check my heart. It's like, oh, Ed, you are operating in a spirit of poverty, and it's not the right way. That's not who you are. So I deal with it all the time. So I'm not saying that I've got it down, but at least I'm aware. And so I just oftentimes break down situations, try to look at the root cause. So there's some stuff that happens. I call it noise. There's some noise that happens. People get upset, and then so I try to look as best I can. It's so hard, right, to be unbiased yourself. But the best I can, I try to look, or I get with colleagues, that I trust, that care about me and will tell me the truth. And so I'll meet up with them, talk about it. And it's like, man, is it me being covetous? Is it me wanting everything, not thinking there's enough for everyone? And that's often the case. So when I run into situations in professional, personal life, and I look at that root cause, it's either something like that in me or in that other person or organization. And so the most freeing thing is just to let go. Just let it go. Rejoice in other people's success. Rejoice that someone is doing something that's cool. And maybe it is something that you'd aspire to like, but you're not doing it. But just rejoice that they are. I'm telling you, the returns, I hate to go to a financial one, but I'm going to because it's the most concrete one I can give you. So I struggled for a long time. I was poor myself for a long time. We were a young family. We were on food stamps. You've heard some of the stories I've shared before. It was hard. It was hard. And I held on to everything, man. And I would get mad at other people's success. Like I heard about this one person who started working in a warehouse, making, $8 an hour, and I was still working in a warehouse in bad environment, making $6 an hour. I mean, instead of rejoicing for that person, I was like mad. Like, how come they got that? I want that. There came a time through a mentor that I just released it. And I literally just had to tell myself, bless that person. So I was like, thank you, God, not to get religious on any of you, but just who I am and how I'm wired now. But for me, it was like, just thank you, God, that they have that success, and teach me how I might have such success, or how I might change as a person to just become content. And I'm telling you, something magical happened. So I literally started giving away money. So I was hoarding, and I was in poverty, both figuratively and real. And I was just holding like this, miserable, miserable. And I started giving. And I'm telling you, something happened, both in the spiritual and whatever it is for you, whatever your paradigm, worldview is, spiritual view. For me, it was very spiritual. It's like something broke in me. And I was like, free. And I remember I used to had a spreadsheet, used to track sort of our finances, and for a long time was flatline, like just poverty. We're just poor. And once I gave it up, and again, imperfectly. So remember that I don't have it. It's just not like black and white for me. I still work in the grays. But that was the catalyst, man. I was like, let it go. It's like I gave this money away. It was the most free thing. And as I tracked, at that point, I could point right to it in the month and the year. My income started to rise exponentially. And again, I'm not preaching a prosperity gospel or anything like that, because this happens both, not just in the financial realm, but in the personal relationship realm, in the business realm. Just bless others. Just give, help them. If you see someone succeed, praise them, give them, encouragement. Don't like, oh, how could I get that? Wait, that's mine. And I'm telling you, it makes for a miserable person. That's why, for those who are watching aren't content, check your heart on that one, because it happens to all of us. And like I said from the beginning, It's probably the top three major things. If you can learn that and master that, it'll change your life. It'll change your career. And I remind myself as well, I'm embarking on a new phase in my career, and I just try to have that same mindset. It's like, bless them, bless. Oh, that's great. Encourage them, help them in any way you can. Because just like if you pour out into others, and this is again, it's that's where that whole pouring out thing comes from, is this more gets poured in. And again, I'm not just talking finance. This isn't like a finance thing, although it impacts finances because that's a part of life. But but if that helps you, if that gives you a good material, way of looking at it, then so be it. So my encouragement to you is, especially if anything inside of you, like listening, got riled up, that's a great sign. That's always a good check for me. Like if I hear someone speak or read something, and it riles me up, I'm like, I get mad or whatever, and then I have to settle down. It's like, okay, what button did that press, and why did it press that? So if there's anything like that, just recheck your heart, and then think big picture. I'm going to end with this. Think big picture, long term, and not materialistically. So again, whatever your worldview is, for me, it's very spiritual, but yours can be very spiritual in a different way. But think about, does it really matter when we get so upset about things and we get so protective? That's mine, or that should be mine, or that could be mine, or you're taking something away from me. Think about it from an eternal perspective or super long-term perspective. Does it really matter that much? Probably not. Probably not. And you'll be the bigger person for it. You'll be the bigger organization for it. Just bless others. Pour into others. Don't get jealous. Don't get mad. Encourage one another. Love on one another. Help one another. And I'm telling you, that's the game changer. So, lessons from my mentor. Thanks for watching.